Welcome to the family with.
Mike Gelfand.
And Andy Brant Bernard.
I'm going to jump right into it, Mike,
Oh
because I
yeah.
brought it up on the morning show that I don't hate Joe Biden. I don't hate Donald Trump. Why hit the people? Look, I understand maybe neither one of them was the best president we've ever had. I'd have to kind of guess on that one. But this morning, did not know because I went to bed before finding out about this. I didn't watch the evening news about the helicopter hitting the airplane at Reagan National Airport. So I did not know about that. And then I heard some kind of chirping going on about something out in the hall. So I came back, hopped on social media. Well, apparently most of the people on social media didn't know what had happened either, because Eastern time, it was like 8:40 or 8:37 p.m., I believe is when it happened, Eastern time.
Yeah. About that.
I cannot believe the hatred on social media right now for Trump and for Biden. Boy, they just won't stop hating
As
those two
soon
sides.
as I saw this accident had happened, this tragedy, I just wondered what sort of conspiracy theories would be developed by this
Yeah.
morning.
And have they? Because I haven't checked.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think what
would think
happened was Trump made the plane hit the helicopter, and Biden made the helicopter hit the plane.
there you go. Yeah, they're both to blame for it.
It was a teamwork
Well,
thing.
the one thing there was no conspiracy theory, obviously, but one thing is that this sort of accident had been predicted for a few years now
Oh,
because
really?
because there's so much traffic at these airports.
I know.
Absolutely.
It's absurd, actually.
Well, they showed the flight pattern, and the airplane obviously was on a straight path for the landing,
Yeah,
and it was the helicopter that took not a sharp right, but kind of an angled right,
yeah,
and hit the airplane. And people are wondering how the hell that could have ever happened.
yeah.
I mean, over an airport, wouldn't you? You're that close to an airport. You're right over an airport, and you're not making sure before you take that angled right that there's
Yeah.
nothing in your way.
Yeah, someone made a big mistake.
Sure seems like it. What?
But it's far more likely to happen, with all this traffic.
Mhm.
I think, and there was a big piece. I must have been, gosh, it was probably about a year or two ago in the New York Times, and it was all about major airports and the likelihood of this sort of accident.
Mm-hmm.
Just there's, it's like a traffic jam every second.
Yeah, I didn't bring it up on the morning show, but I came close one time. I do remember I was in Chicago working, and I got on an airplane to come back to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and we're in the landing. We're about, I don't know how far off the ground we were, but we were nowhere near up in the sky where we had been. And all of a sudden, the plane shot straight up in the air,
Yeah.
and apparently we almost landed on top of another airplane. I didn't ever see it because I didn't look, but
Yeah.
that's what they said. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but there was, I guess the way he put it was the runway was occupied. That's the way he put it, right?
It's it's incredibly scary when something goes wrong on a plane. I remember I was on a plane when I was covering the Twins, so we had basically the whole baseball team was on this plane, and the pilot comes on and he says, "Well, we've lost one of our engines, but nothing to worry about. We're just going to turn around and we'll go back to Pittsburgh and land, and then we'll get this thing fixed." And we were saying, "I don't know." I looked across from me. Carl Kield, remember him?
Sure, yeah.
He'd been in the Air Force, and I look over at him. He's trembling and shaking, and he's
Ooh.
sweating. And I thought, if he's doing that, this is not good.
Of course, immediately when I found out about it this morning, because it again happened Eastern time at 8:37, so I don't think it hit the news till about 9:30 Eastern time, something like that.
Seems like about that.
I think it was right around that time. So I had no idea because I'd gone to bed at 9 o'clock last night, so it wasn't reported before I'd gone to bed. So I got up and found out about it this morning, and again looking at the angle of the planes, it looks like the helicopter veered into the plane. I don't know.
Yeah,
Some people thought there was some kind of conspiracy. Of course, there's a lot of conspiracy theories because
Oh, yeah.
when anything happens, it's somebody did it on purpose and whatever. I don't know if that's the case. I kind of doubt that would be the case, but Isn't it pretty hard to miss an airplane coming at your
You would
helicopter?
kind of think so, wouldn't you?
I mean, a helicopter's got that huge windshield. How do you not see that airplane in front of you?
I mean, if it was at night, it's dark. It's actually quite difficult to see
Yeah,
things
yeah,
in the
837,
air
it's
at night.
dark. Yep. Well, I suppose that's true, but they got
Planes are
lights all
also
over them.
very fast.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a
he
good
could have
point.
seen it, and there might have been nothing he could do about it.
I
Yeah.
think
Also, I think that probably that helicopter shouldn't have been anywhere near there in the first place.
Well, no,
right.
I think that's probably a big part of it.
I don't know. I have obviously been on doing a show this morning. Have you guys seen anything new this morning? Are there any new developments in the story this morning?
I didn't see any. I got
Not
up a
me.
couple hours ago and I was looking to see if there was something like that, but there really wasn't.
Yeah, it's very, very sad. 67 people are dead. Luckily, there wasn't more than that because although they don't allow boat traffic on that part of the water there, do they?
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so. Maybe they do, but I don't know. It just the whole thing just seems so odd. Why this would have happened? A Black Hawk helicopter. It would that now that's a military helicopter, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it is a military helicopter, but it was apparently the people on the airplane. A lot of them were worldwide figure skating
Oh
champions.
yeah. The ones who were
Oh yeah, a bunch of them were on
plane
the
started
plane.
in Wichita, did it?
I think that's right. I think that's exactly right. So I just don't understand with all the developments in knowing where planes are and all the electronics they can use and all the rest of it. I'm very, very surprised this could still happen that you would accidentally run into someone.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, the whole conditions were just right for something like this to eventually happen.
Because it is as far as filling the air, it is the most busy airport in America, correct?
Yeah, I think it is,
Wouldn't doubt it.
and yeah, I'm sure you've been at that airport. I have,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's it's scary just being in the airport there.
But the amazing thing to me about it, because once I did hear that it had happened, then I hopped on, found out whatever I could, and I hopped on social media. Not one mention of the crash. It was just basically nothing but I hate Trump, I hate Biden. That was on social media this morning. It's like, my God, are you ever going to get over this? Relax.
I don't think it's engineered for any of us to get over it.
No, it's not, is it?
I
I
hate to
just
use the term engineered because that sounds like something Bobby Jr. says, but in a sense, it's probably fairly accurate.
Boy, speaking of that, they were going after him. Oh man, my God, they were going after him this morning on social media. Just he's the most hated man in the United States right now, I guess. I
Well,
don't
people
get
keep
it.
holding those 83 children who died in Samoa because he told them not to take the measles vaccine. They keep going after that. That's in the past. Come on.
That's it. See, I didn't even know anything about that. So he told 70 children not to take
Oh,
vaccine, and they all.
he went to Samoa,
Oh, okay.
and he basically when he was there, he told people that they shouldn't take any vaccines and that the measles vaccine was dangerous. So a lot of people there believed him, and they had this terrible measles outbreaks there. And
Oh,
yeah, I think it
okay.
was 83 kids, I think, died of measles.
Yeah, that's good news for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a. Did you read about the how he fed his pet hawk? How can you have a pet hawk? Is that
I
actually
don't.
legal to have a pet hawk?
It
I,
is.
is it really?
You have to be registered as a. Are they still called falconers if it's a hawk?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
so.
As
He
long
is
as
a
you're
falconer.
registered as a falconer, then you
Yeah.
can keep one.
So
Okay, Mike.
what he did was he liked to entertain like his brothers, cousins, friends by putting chickens and mice into a blender
Oh,
and
Jesus.
then like pouring the remains into for the hawk to eat.
Well, I mean, hawks got 8.
Yeah, right.
I suppose that's true.
You
I
know,
just.
when you go to Chewy, you don't see any advertisements for hawk food.
Isn't that amazing when you think of it? When you look back at John F. Kennedy becoming president all those years ago, he ends up being assassinated, and then Bobby runs for president, he's assassinated, and then when RFK Jr. comes along, he flips the switch and he goes to a different. Is he actually no longer a Democrat, or is he still a Democrat?
I can't see how he could call himself a Democrat, but I don't
Yeah,
think he
who
calls
knows?
himself anything.
Oh, it's nothing.
No. Yeah, I think he'll probably. I think that probably he'll wind up making it through this process because the same thing. There'll be like two Republicans who will vote against him, and there you go. And then they
And
have
that'll be
this
the
guy.
deal.
Yeah, he he's he kind of lost me when he said that COVID had been engineered so that it wouldn't harm Jews and Asians.
He did not. Did he say that really?
Yeah, yeah.
That it wouldn't harm you? So they're not human? Is that what he's trying to say?
I don't know. Actually, what he said was Ashkenazi Jews. I don't know why he said that, but
Oh,
most
well,
Jews in this
Ashkenazi.
country are Ashkenazi
Yeah, the
Jews.
overwhelming majority.
Yeah, that's why they
Very,
have
very
so much
true.
Crohn's disease.
So
But yeah, that's what he said, and just bizarre stuff like that.
but why do people? I know he's been struggling with a lot of. What caused him to lose his ability to speak clearly?
I think it's some kind of a brain disorder.
It is a brain disorder.
He has laryngospasm. I don't know why though.
Yeah, I heard it was kind of something that it comes from a brain disorder, but
Spasmodic dysphonia.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a neurological condition that seems to just be. It is what it is.
But then when you hear that, you think, well, maybe this is because of the worm eating his brain.
There's a worm in his brain.
Well, that's what he said. Yeah, everything he says that's nuts. It gets some headlines, and about 2 weeks later, he says something even worse. So this is like it never happened. But yes, he did say that a worm had eaten part of his brain.
He said that.
Yeah, yeah.
See, I don't even watch the political news usually. I really try to stay away from it as much as I can.
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
it's a good idea.
both sides of it are so nuts right now. Who needs it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really funny because somebody asked me the question about who's the last president you really liked, and I went back quite a ways, and Jimmy Carter was probably the last president I liked, but then of course everybody says he did a terrible job as president, so I can't win no matter who I go with. I can't win.
Yeah, I think history will be kinder to him, but
I would think so.
that is the talking point.
100 years old, man, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one thing for sure, he must have been pretty content with the job he did.
Yeah, I guess. Look, I mean, I wasn't even alive then, but I got to be honest with probably my favorite president would be Teddy Roosevelt, I would think, because he did, well, first of all, this whole area, in the Midwest, Roosevelt did a lot for the park system and all
Well,
that
he
kind of
saved
stuff.
the wilderness,
He did. He absolutely did. No question.
and then
Isn't it nice?
he went into it and killed everything in sight.
Well, he was hunting. He was doing us a favor.
Yeah,
He
yes.
was doing us a huge favor.
It's like how they drop fish into the lake so you can then fish them back up.
Sure.
Absolutely.
There has to be someone, and we got to figure out who it might be. Is there one president who is the one president gets the highest rating of likability over all of them?
Well, it would be Lincoln in the North.
Yeah, Lincoln,
Not in
but
the
it wouldn't be in the South. It would not be in the South. There's no
Probably a lot of
way.
people would say George Washington.
And that's exactly why I asked that question. It probably would be George Washington. And then they accused him of stealing all kinds of money and everything. You remember that? It turned out it was his money. He wasn't stealing it, but
Yeah, those are the good old days. So they held an election, and then about 2 months later, you hear the results.
yeah, that is very true back
Yeah,
then.
once the man on the horse delivers the letter to the local news station.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody told me a story the other day. They sent me this thing because I didn't believe it. But is it true when they tore down Ben Franklin's house, they found like 3 bodies buried in the walls?
I hadn't heard that.
Andy, do you know if that's true or not? Apparently, some chimney or something. They found three corpses or skeletons or whatever the hell they found in Ben Franklin's
Wow.
house wall.
And he wasn't even a clown who was a butcher.
The
No,
remains of over 15 people.
15. I thought it was only 3.
Wow.
Holy Anna!
Well, back then, it was pretty common for scientifically minded people to pay certain people with shovels to go to the graveyard and just grab them a corpse so that they
Oh.
could study it.
That's what they said anyway.
And that's what apparently
Yeah.
people they buy a corpse and they study it, they dissect it, that sort of thing. But that was very illegal to just dig up a corpse so you could dissect it. So
Yeah.
they'd have to hide the evidence after.
Well, I did once call Corpse R Us.
Yeah,
But
Corpse are us. That's
They wouldn't sell me anything.
nice company, though.
Yeah, well, kind of doer, but other than that,
Yeah, it's about 15. I thought it was 3, but it was 15?
Yeah.
Good God.
Well, I mean, the guy was a weirdo and he was scientifically minded.
I think
So
I think Gacy only had like 4.
Yeah, he only had 4. You're right. Absolutely.
yeah, but he made him himself. So he was a startup.
Yeah, that's right.
I often wondered that when I was a kid, and we don't need to spend a whole lot of time talking about it, but I would watch the news and I go, what do you mean he killed 2 people and buried them in the basement? Why would anyone do that? I could not understand as a kid why anyone would kidnap 2 people, I guess do whatever they did, and then bury them and redo the cement flooring, I guess. What is that?
I respect Gacy because he said if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's true. Now, did he love his job?
Well, obviously, yeah.
I suppose.
I think so.
So he only killed 4 people, though?
Gacy?
Yeah.
I think he killed a lot more than that.
Yeah, I think he did kill.
Oh, did he?
Too, yeah.
33.
33 people he killed.
So, yeah.
And what drives that? Why do you want to kill 33 people?
Most of these people had not so great childhoods.
I would imagine, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
is
of
that
course,
the deal?
That like they always say, the first one is the toughest, right?
I suppose.
And then you just kind of, get into the groove.
Yeah, it's like getting into smoking,
Yeah, right.
You just got to get past that first cigarette and then smooth sailing from there.
Yeah.
God, I do remember that as an 11-year-old trying my first cigarette. It was hideous.
Yeah, me too. I've smoked 1 cigarette. I don't think I'll ever smoke one again.
Yeah, it's a strange habit.
Yeah, my friend, she gave me a clove cigarette, and she's like, "Clove cigarettes taste great. Try it." And I took 1 puff, and I was coughing for 20 minutes. And I was like,
God.
"Why would I want to do this?"
It's true. Now, to kind of shift gears a little bit, because, 15 minutes of murder talk is probably enough. Or 17
It'll
minutes.
put me in a good mood.
Well, that's true. Me too. The healthiest meal in the world, this is national news now.
Mm-hmm.
This is not local news. The healthiest meal in the world includes cheese and chocolate. Do you believe that?
Why not?
Seems like it's kind of overdoing it a bit, but I'm into the dark chocolate fad right now.
They say it's one of the best things for you, dark chocolate.
Yeah,
Well-
if it's 70% or more cocoa.
Yes, it has to be dark, like
Yeah, right.
actually dark.
Yeah, milk chocolate is not good for you. But
See-
the dark stuff is, I have a big supply of it, and every day I eat, just like a few little squares.
Well, I will tell you what, you guys nailed it, because it is dark chocolate that is very good. A certain kind of cheese, which I don't even think I've heard of. What is Labneh cheese? I never heard of that.
How do you spell this?
Labneh. Labneh?
Labneh. It
Labneh.
is soft Middle Eastern cheese made from strained yogurt. Oh, it's basically Greek yogurt.
Oh, so it's Greek yogurt.
Yes.
So it's not really cheese.
No.
Okay, so dark chocolate and yogurt are really good for you, right?
I guess so.
Apparently.
So basically what they're talking about is you go with Labneh cheese with roasted tomatoes and broccoli. Labneh is a fermented cheese popular in the Middle East. It's got healthy bacteria that's good for your gut. Then the main course, you go with citrus mackerel salad with chickpeas, fennel, and red onions. No, thank you. None for me.
Seems very specific.
It does,
It
yeah.
almost sounds like something on the menu of a restaurant that may or may not be advertising for this publication.
Well, mackerel is one of the healthiest types of fish, it says, because it's loaded with omega-3s. And so they have an argument. She says to top it with black olive, sauerkraut, and pumpkin seeds.
Well, the
And then
black
we get-
olives are fine. After that, not so much.
No
No,
pumpkin seeds?
Yeah, that would be good for me. How fast would I have to get to the hospital after that?
I suppose.
pumpkin seeds?
Any seeds?
Oh, any seeds at all?
No seeds for me.
No. You got the diverticulitis going there?
No, I got the scarred intestines going.
Yeah, that'll do it. Tom turned off his mic somehow, and I can't unmute you because you muted yourself. So hopefully you know how you did that.
Yeah.
We cannot hear you. You turned off your mic.
Oh.
No, I mean on the computer on StreamYard. You clicked something on StreamYard to mute your mic. We're not going to get this fixed, are we?
Well, but a lot of people can read lips, so
Yes,
pretty good for that. I think
our audience, I don't think can.
I think he just said, oh yeah, he just said I needed a big raise, is what he said.
Oh, well.
Oh, other than that, I don't know.
I think he's going to be coming back in a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you want to take a break, or do you have some interesting news stories? Or...
There he is.
Is that better?
I never have any
you're back.
interesting news stories.
Okay, you can hear me again.
Yes.
Okay, good. I don't know what the hell that was even about. I don't know. I must have touched something that I didn't know I was touching.
Something.
I like this though. I'm a bigger person now in this pastiche we have here.
Yeah, you moved up. You moved up a
You got promoted.
Yeah.
So that's good. All right. So what else is going on in the world? Anything good?
Let's see. What is really good? Well, we got the Super Bowl coming up, and I can't remember what the halftime show is this year, but it hasn't been one that I liked in about 30 years. But
I got to be honest with you. I've never ever liked a halftime show. I found it totally. I'd rather, go pee or do something at halftime than watch that stuff.
no, I've never actually watched one.
Oh,
I liked it a
it's
few
horrible.
years ago when they had the elderly rappers.
Oh, I didn't see those.
I thought it was kind of quaint.
I must.
Elderly rappers?
Yeah, they were rappers who had been very famous, still were, but they were in their 50s, some in their 60s. Yeah.
Huh.
I'm really glad you brought this up because I would like to ask the question, have we always been a society in America where if you're too successful, we hate you? Has it always been this way?
Well, there's a certain degree of that, I think.
I just don't
Schadenfreude,
Yeah, right.
we want to see these people fail.
If they're good enough to win 3 Super Bowls in a row, then good for them. They did what they were supposed to do, is win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Right.
And I think Kansas City will make it 3 in a row.
Seems like it.
They're just Mahomes is just so good. He doesn't make mistakes.
He's phenomenal, no question. I knew his dad, and his dad was a good guy, and
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, people knew that I knew his dad, and of course, when he got arrested for drunk driving, I was the first one to get a call. What's with your buddy? It's like I wasn't my best friend. I just met him. Calm down.
Yeah, I know he was a pretty good pitcher, though, right?
Yeah, he was. He was a good athlete, hell of an athlete.
How long was he in the majors, do you think?
A few years, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could you look that up, Andy, and see Pat Mahomes Sr., how long he was in the major leagues?
Let's see here. Pat Mahomes. Do we mean the one born in 1970?
No, that's well, wait a minute. Yeah,
think
that
it
probably
must
would
be,
be.
yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it must be the one in 1970.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. 55 years old.
Let's see here. How long was he in the major leagues? It's going to be a bit.
I was thinking it was 3 years. And I'm not sure, and maybe that was just the time he was with the Twins too. So
And in those
I
days,
don't know.
3 years didn't really get you that much.
No, it did not. That's very, very true. But very pleasant guy. I mean, I never went out to the bars with him or anything, so I don't know how he was after he was hitting the.
He was in
the
Major
ball.
League Baseball for 11 seasons.
Well,
11?
hell of a career.
With
Twins, Red Sox, Mets, Rangers, Cubs, and Pirates.
Oh my God, he moved around a little bit.
So yeah, there you go. But he
So
made
what
his
is that?
debut with the Twins.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So what does that mean to you, Michael Gelfand, that he was with like 6 different teams in the major
Yeah, it's
league?
pretty typical, that they bounce around.
Yeah.
I mean, the Minnesota Gophers basketball team has guys who've been with 5 teams,
Yeah, that's true.
so it's everywhere.
Well, I'm kind of in a way glad that came up because we're only pitchers and catchers report in the next
Yes.
30 days or 15 days or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that mid February?
Usually it's early February, isn't it?
Early February. There you go.
I don't know. I could be wrong about that. I know that I should know. I spent a few spring trainings down in those days in Orlando covering the Twins.
God,
It's really
yes.
fun to cover those guys because what you want to do. The secret to covering spring training is you want to interview. It's like a guy who writes obituaries.
Hmm.
You want to interview the guys who won't make it
Oh, I suppose,
because they've
yeah.
got a story to tell, and you have to tell it then, and you'll never tell it again.
Well, that's a very good point. No question about it. Um, do you have any idea who's going to buy the Twins? Because the Twins are going to be sold in the next few weeks.
I have a bet on
Uh,
that.
oh, you do?
Yeah, the site I bet on had the over under at 1.2 billion. I think.
Hmm.
That sound right?
I think, well, that's a little low, actually,
Well, that's
because
what I
one,
thought. I bet the
yeah,
over.
yeah, it's a little low, so I don't know if they're going to sell it for 1.2 billion, but
I think it'll be more. Yeah.
yeah.
The
Eh,
problem is if you pay 1.2 billion for the team, you probably have to wait 10 years before you double your money. That's not
mm,
enough, I guess, for some people.
10 years is too much to make another 1.2 billion.
Yeah.
I'd take it.
I mean, it's been a pretty good investment. You can buy the worst team there is, baseball, basketball.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter, football, and yeah, you would become a billionaire, except that you already are one.
Right. That's exactly. Well, they already own some basketball team, the
Yeah,
Suns or something.
is it the? Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah,
One of the brothers, I think, owns the basketball team already.
yeah.
And what's their deal? What business are they in?
God, I wonder. I'm not sure where they got their money.
I'm not either. I have no idea with
Usually, it's
that.
tech these days.
I did not know this, and I wouldn't name who it is, but there's an American businessman that we all know that is now worth $28 billion. And then Elon Musk looks at that and goes, "Oh, so what?"
Yeah,
Isn't that
he makes
amazing?
that much in a week.
He does make that much. What is he worth now? Almost
Yeah,
$500 billion.
yeah. He's neo-Nazi politics have been very good for him.
Is he a neo-Nazi?
Oh,
I don't pay a
he
lot of attention to
he
him.
promotes he promotes a lot of these neo-Nazi groups, like in Germany. The Chancellor of Germany just called them very bad names because the Chancellor of Germany apparently likes democracy, and Trump and Musk just doesn't.
So what is with Musk? Why would he support Nazism? I don't get it. Why would you do that?
Um, I guess well, growing up in apartheid, maybe part of it. But other than that, I guess some people like that stuff and some don't.
So
He
South
likes,
Africa?
yeah,
I guess I see. None of that stuff. I got to be honest with you. If I was worth, $100 million, which is nothing, he could hand that over to you and not even feel it because he'd make more that day than he
yeah.
just gave you. Why on earth would you want an opinion that severe? You've just made this magnificent move in your life. Why would you hate anyone?
Um, I guess it's just built in, to the DNA in some cases. He,
I guess, yeah.
but we're supposed to believe that he just accidentally gave the Heil Hitler sign. I've
Oh, but
never
that
seen
that
anyone
one's bullshit.
accidentally make that sign.
I'm sorry, but they all do it. They've got pictures of Tim Walls doing it. They got pictures of most of the, and a lot of them do hit their chest first and then do it. Now, if I did it, I would hit my chest and turn my hand up just to make sure
Yeah.
that nobody thought I was
Well,
doing
and he
the
did
Nazi
it
sign.
twice.
Yeah,
And
a
obviously
lot
he
of them
was
did.
very excited,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he says he has Asperger's. Whether he does or not, I don't know. But, you could say, well, he's very impulsive and he does things like that because he really can't stop himself.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm in a position in my life now. I guess I'm at the age where I don't give a rat's ass about any of these people anymore. You do what you do. There's nothing I can do to make it better or worse or whatever. I just kind of live my life and watch these people. My God, there's
Yeah.
a lot of hatred in the world right now.
Well, there's no question about that. More
Do you
every
think,
day, and it's being led by, people who profit from that.
do you mean all U.S. presidents and everybody else who runs the country?
Possibly, I mean, yeah,
Yeah. I
because
mean,
I think that certainly the most recent elections seem to be a lot more about hatred than patriotism.
Yeah, but when was the last time there was a patriotic? Was it what? Maybe John F. Kennedy? Maybe that was the last patriotic president election.
Well, certainly Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter. Yeah, I did like Jimmy Carter. I never met him, but I got to talk to him on the phone a couple times. He was a very, very nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, at least to me, he was.
And a hell of a peanut farmer.
That's what I hear.
The only other peanut farmer I knew was Howard Fox, the twins.
God, Howard Fox.
And he was not a guy who I thought was especially lovable.
Well, it was so funny because I think the first time you and I ever went to a Twins spring training in Orlando, he sat right between you and me, if I remember correctly.
Did he call me the nickname he liked to call me by?
What did he call you?
Well, I can't really say it, but it began with a reference to the phallus and ended with someone who was intaking food, I guess you'd say.
Oh, was there a C and an S in it?
Yes, there certainly was.
He called you that?
Many times.
Why? Because you
Because
criticized
he
the team?
He was a crude man, and he was an anti-Semite, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's just the way I saw it. I mean, there were anecdotes, but who knows? I didn't know the real Howard Fox. I just knew this guy who hated me and kept calling me the worst name he could think of. But he didn't just call me that. I will say that.
Oh, is anybody who wrote in the newspaper? Is that pretty
No,
much
just-
who it was safe for?
Well, just anyone he happened to be upset about on any given day.
Where was he from originally?
Well, he was a peanut farmer, so I'm guessing it was. I'm pretty sure. Well, it was in the South for sure.
Georgia, right?
Oh, he's from
It makes
Georgia?
sense because there's a lot
So
of
Howard Fox was from Georgia, Andy?
Let's see.
Howard Fox.
Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. Okay.
Close
Oh, yeah,
enough.
Virginia
that's-
almonds.
Same thing.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't that almonds instead of peanuts, though?
I don't know. Maybe
I
in
don't know
1920 it was different.
I don't know anything about it. It still amazes me, and that it even did when I was a little kid, and it continues to stick in my brain that all people of a certain either belief or faith are all the same. Well,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous.
Right.
Why would you be stupid enough to believe something like that?
That's it's in the DNA and it's the way you're raised.
Yeah, I suppose that's
I
true.
mean, why do so many people in the South want to secede? Why do they want slavery?
Do they still want to secede?
Well, it comes and goes.
Yeah, I suppose.
And like when we tear down, a Confederate general, then they want to secede. Because they say it's not that they like what the Confederates did. It's just that it's history.
So is it all pretty much in the deep South, or is it across the board?
Well, I mean, they're red states and they're in the South.
I guess most of them are. I don't
Not all of them,
understand any of
obviously,
it.
but it's just a cultural thing.
Why do you think it is that people continue on both sides to be so hateful of the other side? Why? And I'm not to say that they wouldn't be upset by it, but to actually waste the energy to hate someone over that, I don't really understand.
Makes them feel good, I guess.
I guess that's what it's all about. I really wish it weren't like that, but it's just me.
I mean, I've spent a lot of time in the South, and I have many. Well, I don't have a lot of relatives, but the ones I have most of them are either come from North Minneapolis or North Tulsa.
Yeah, well, that's right. You've talked about that. You and I have talked about that
Yeah.
before.
And so,
And how did a Jewish family end up in Tulsa? I still don't understand that.
it was. I guess it was because my great grandfather came to this country and he said, "Well, oil. That's where the money is."
Oh, that's true. That's a very good point.
So that's how the 8 Jews got to Tulsa.
There are a total of 8 Jews, and
I don't know.
the Gelfands were 7 of them.
When my grandmother died, I went to her funeral in Tulsa, and I got to talking for quite a while with a guy who was in charge of the Jewish burial something or other. They were the ones who arranged for a lot of funerals, and I said, "Well, what else do you guys do?" And he said, "No, we just bury Jews."
When you first mentioned that to me, probably now, 35 years ago or something like that, maybe it's more than that. People, when I would repeat that story, people would say, "That's bull." I said, "What do you mean? There aren't any Jews in Oklahoma." I said, well, they
Well,
literally said that there were 0 Jews in the entire
there was.
state.
I know when my dad was there, there was basically one rabbi, and that's why my dad didn't get a bar mitzvah because, and of course, I've told you this. No one is ever shocked to hear this. By the way, no one who knows me is not shocked to hear the reason he didn't get his bar mitzvah was because he got into a huge argument with the rabbi.
Oh
My dad
God!
did.
Not a member of your family. What?
My dad is a classic example of how and why some people stay angry their whole life
Really?
because he grew up in Tulsa and he'd apply for a job, with a newspaper or something, and the editor or the head of whatever business it was would say, "We don't hire people like you."
Like you?
Mm,
Was people like you?
yeah. And by
I
the
said
way,
that
for people who don't know, my dad was not black; he was Jewish.
he was Jewish.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But either
No
way,
question.
they don't hire people like that. Well, of course they don't. They didn't hire black people because they burned down all their houses and their businesses.
Yeah, that's true.
1921. My dad born in 1922. So that sort of thing stays with a guy.
See, I think it's wonderful. My parents were both born in 1920, and yours were like the same exact time.
Yeah.
Almost.
Well, and you and I
20,
are
21,
classic
22.
examples of, we are, for lack of a better term, we are boomers.
Yeah, that's true. And that is very, very true. It just, it was an interesting time to grow up in America. Andy, are you keeping an eye on, has anybody talked about the fact what might have happened to that helicopter, why it turned into the airplane?
I don't think there's anything yet.
Not yet. They showed the flight patterns though, and it wasn't a sharp right, it was an angled right.
Hmm.
But how could you not, because a helicopter has a huge windshield,
Yeah. Well,
how could you not see that airplane?
hey, it was at night though.
Yeah, but there's a lot of lights flashing on those airplanes,
Oh,
man.
yeah. And even more after they collided.
I would imagine there's a lot of lights
Only
flashing.
briefly, though.
Only briefly, correct.
Yeah, I don't know. That whole thing makes me very, very sad, and I really kind of wish it wouldn't have happened. But some people think it was intentional.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I buy that
It
one.
has happened before, pilots committing suicide like that, but
Well, I
it's been
suppose.
quite a while, I think. Also, that would be a very weird, high risk way to commit suicide. I mean, you veer towards a helicopter. What if you miss?
Yeah.
Well, the
So,
helicopter
I mean,
veered toward the airplane. Yeah.
I don't think it makes really a whole lot of sense either way because an airplane is a lot faster than a helicopter. To intentionally steer either into either would be a 1 in a million shot.
You would think.
Of course, the airplane wasn't exactly at high velocity.
Well,
No, it was
even-
landing.
Well, I mean,
absolutely.
for an airplane. I mean,
For an airplane,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I
It
mean,
was
like,
landing.
commercial jets aren't the most agile things in the world.
yeah, well, that's true.
So, I think the helicopter and the plane would both have had to have been in on it.
Yeah, it seems unlikely.
Yes, it seems
It
very
seems
unlikely.
very, yeah. See, Andy, that's a very good point you made because most people think, no, I shouldn't say most people, but a lot of people think that the helicopter did it on purpose for some reason.
Yeah, but a helicopter, I don't think really. I mean, maybe if they knew the flight path ahead of time, which would mean ATC would also have been in on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that would have to have been like orchestrated
Yeah,
that makes it a lot less likely than just
Yeah.
freak accident.
I think people who promote these particular conspiracy theories basically overestimate the human brain.
Hmm.
They do that a lot, though, Mike, don't you think?
Yes, they do.
They really do that a lot. By coincidence, I was thinking about that this morning when I got up. It's like people think that we're a lot smarter than we really are.
Yeah.
I mean, we do. The human beings think they're a lot smarter. Everybody thinks they're a genius. Have you ever noticed that now? And I don't know why that is, but everybody now thinks that they're a genius.
One of the things that always confused me as a kid was when some adult would say, "Don't get smart, kid." And I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
right. So what did that mean?
You're supposed to be smart, I mean, come on. Isn't that good to be smart?
Yeah, smart talk.
I wonder how that originated.
I don't know because it doesn't make any sense.
No, it didn't then, it doesn't now.
Well, it didn't then. That's a good way to put it. It didn't then. It doesn't. I don't. Yeah. What kind of smart talk? Well, if it's smart talk, that's a good thing.
Hmm.
Smart ass. Now, what does smart ass mean?
Well,
Smart in its earliest usage meant causing pain or sharp, like a
Oh,
needle.
a smart pain.
That's like where people say that's smarts.
Oh, sure, yeah,
There you go. It hurts.
yeah.
So
So
why was being
smart talk would
intelligent then?
be because, well, and sharp became a synonym for intelligent.
Yeah, it
So it
did.
just kind of morphed into that.
So they misused the word completely.
Yeah, so technically using smart to mean intelligent is the wrong usage of the word.
Right. But does that happen with a lot of words in the English
Oh,
language?
yes, it certainly does.
Well,
That's what I was
words,
thinking.
unfortunately, are very flexible.
They're ephemeral.
As long as you misuse them enough, they become okay.
I guess. I don't know.
Like Skibidi.
Skibidi.
Mhm.
Oh my God, we talked about Skibidi yesterday. What does Skibidi mean again? I
Although
forgot.
Skibidi didn't start off meaning anything, so I guess that's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah,
Skibidi, I
Skibidi.
think, is good, according to Alex. I've never heard anyone actually use it as slang. I'm just
I haven't
aware of
either.
where it came from. But I think she said Skibidi is good, which doesn't make sense because the Skibidi toilets are not good.
The
So-
what?
But
The what?
Oh, you're not aware of Skibidi Toilet?
No.
No,
I
it's
wasn't until yesterday, Mike. So you and I are shoulder to shoulder
It's
on this
an-
one.
animated internet series on YouTube Shorts.
Mhm.
It's about these toilets that have human heads in them, and then they fight these guys that have TVs instead of heads.
What?
All right, I'm ready now.
That's-
I've seen enough.
That's
I'm-
basically about as deep as it goes.
Yeah.
Just
The
wrap it
Skibidi
up.
Toilets hate the TV head guys, and
Yeah,
there you go.
I suppose. So Skibidi came from what?
It's just a corruption of a Hungarian phrase.
Oh, it is.
From
Okay.
a song.
Hmm.
So Skibidi doesn't mean anything. Never has.
Because I've never even, until yesterday, I'd never even heard of it.
Well, you're not exactly the target audience for
So that
it.
would be your and Alex's age.
No, it would
Tom,
be
you and
younger
I
than
aren't
us.
the target
Really?
for anything anymore.
No, not anymore. There's no question about
Completely
it.
out.
You're out of the game, guys.
Yep.
We
Skibidi
are-
Toilet started in February 2023, so it's about 2 years old.
Oh, okay.
So it's a relatively new thing. And yes, it's I would say its primary audience is kids between the ages of like 12 and maybe 18.
Mhm.
This just popped up on my screen, and
Well, it's
I
Skibidi
don't-
Toilet.
no, not Skibidi, but it's common things people find disgusting,
Hmm.
and not
If
one
it's-
of them makes
that
any sense.
mentions me. I don't want to hear it.
No, I'm not going to say Gelfand. Even if it's on here, I'm not saying it. No, well, you were talking about that. This just popped up on my screen, and I don't understand. There are a lot of common things that people find disgusting, and yet they still happen. People that chew with their mouth open. I cannot be around it. The people, it's like, oh, why? Why are you chewing with your mouth open?
It's a mystery to me.
Well, if you eat too much food.
Why you put so much in your mouth you can't get your mouth closed?
Yep. And
Well, I
people do
suppose.
that.
How about
Ethan does do that.
How about people who have to demonstrate things when they talk? They want you to see their tongue.
They want you to
what- wait.
see their tongue.
How do you do that? Like, let me tell you,
Well,
a
there's
lot of L's.
the way I started. The first time I saw this was actually a woman who is affiliated with one of the horse racing sites I see, and
Okay.
she's at some track, making picks. And every time she opens her mouth, you see most of her tongue. I'd say 80% of her tongue, pretty much. She
Huh.
loves showing off her tongue.
So how do you talk?
I
I
don't know.
cannot talk and show my tongue.
No,
I
I've
can't.
tried it. I can't do it.
I can't either. I don't understand that.
It is
So
a nice tongue. It's very
like-
pink.
It's very pink. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. I'm glad to hear that. No question
know.
about it. So in this case, common things people find disgusting would be belly buttons, socks, and wooden cutlery. Why would you find any of those disgusting? I mean, belly
wooden
button.
cutlery, I get.
Oh,
Wood is porous. Bacteria is going to get in there. There's nothing you can
Oh.
do about it.
I suppose you're probably right about that. A lot of common things that people find disgusting, and yet they still happen. Loud eaters, sticky surfaces, dirty toilet seats, spitting, and biting your fingernail. Yeah, I'm not wild about any of those. I got to be honest with you. But there are also some random things that only gross some people out. BuzzFeed asked their readers to create a list of perfectly common things that some people find disgusting, but others don't even think twice about it. And they came up with a list of 15 of them. Eating cake after someone has blown all over it. What do you mean blown all?
Like
Oh, you
blowing
mean
out the candles.
Candles.
blown
Yeah.
out the candles?
I get it. Yeah.
Especially after a little kid blows out the candles.
I
I
definitely
suppose.
would not eat any cake under those circumstances.
No, none of it.
Yeah,
I'd
we
pass.
make Ethan his own cake so he can spit all over it. We'll eat our own.
And this is, after all, the era of the norovirus.
It is.
Yeah.
Number 14, greasy phones, greasy laptops, greasy cabinet doors, greasy fridge doors, and the main culprit, greasy fingers.
Well, how about greasy bowling balls?
So that wouldn't be good either.
Because that's the weird thing about bowling alleys is, there are a lot of people. You have this bowling ball. I don't have a bowling ball. Probably half the people don't have bowling ball, don't own a bowling ball.
In these days, you're probably right about
And
that.
there's probably a pretty good chance that the guy who had it before you just ate a cheeseburger.
Oh, yeah, Jesus. Oh yeah, picking up the bowling ball at the bowling alley. No, thank you.
Yeah.
You're right. So they got on here dirty keyboards, cotton balls, and belly buttons. What cotton balls? Why do you care about cotton balls? Why would you not?
Used or just in general?
God, I would hope not used, but maybe that's exactly what they mean.
I have plenty of cotton balls in my house.
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, they're very handy.
Yep, I agree. Now, number 10, I don't understand at all. Some people find this very disgusting, the feeling of wearing socks.
I hate wearing socks.
You do?
And
'Cause
Ethan
I
does-
love it. It makes
Ethan
your
does
foot
too.
feel... Really?
Yep.
Gelfand, you get the breaking vote here.
Well, all I can say is you people who hate socks, you're probably from the South. And but I don't like not having socks on.
I agree with you. I love having socks on. So
I
wonder
always
what that
wear
is.
socks to bed.
Oh, do you really? That's
Well,
there you
Partly
go.
because the floors of my house are about 50 degrees when it's 70 outside. So, and when it's 20 below outside, my floors are about 20 above.
Oh, is that right?
Very old house and not much insulation.
No, I suppose that's true. No, I'm finding more and more of these that I would tend to lean toward maybe, but wearing socks, no. Andy, you don't like wearing socks, but
I don't think it's gross, but it hurts
Right.
my leg hair, basically.
I do hate the next one. Sitting in a now warm seat that somebody was just sitting in.
Yeah.
I know.
That's the thing about toilet seats. It's like if it's cold, it's unpleasant because it's cold.
Yeah.
But if it's warm, it's unpleasant because it's warm.
Yeah.
Somebody's
You know,
butt
there's
was
really
just
no
on there.
winning when it comes to toilet seats.
Well, I think toilet seats need a rest before they can be used by one person after
Good.
another.
It should be like remember those like rotary hand towels that they used to have where you pulled it down
Oh, yeah.
and then dried your hands? Toilet seat should be like this, where you spin them and get a new fresh toilet seat.
Yeah.
All right, the
Because
top.
you don't see the toilet seat paper covers much anymore.
No, you don't.
No.
It used to be a lot of places you go to, like if you had a hotel room or a motel room, they you know what it said on those, right?
No.
The paper stuff that covered the toilet seat,
Right.
sanitized for your protection.
Oh, that God! I forgot all about that. I do.
You don't
remember
see that anymore. I don't think.
Maybe they just don't do it anymore. Okay, the top three, pretty disgusting. When people floss their teeth in front of others, why would you do that?
Now that's a
wouldn't
very
you do-
private thing.
That's a bathroom thing, isn't it?
Well, I've been known to do it when I was in bed, but
I know.
I just wash my sheets a lot.
The number one thing in America that most people are disgusted by, which I don't understand why they'd be disgusted by this, but the feeling of lotion or moisturizer on their skin.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
You don't like that, Andy? You fit this whole study pretty well.
Well, it makes sense.
Why does it make sense?
I mean, it's consistent with my personality, I'd say.
Why? You just don't touch me, kind of thing.
I guess. I don't know. Lotion, it's just like you feel it on you. If you feel like your hands are dirty.
See,
I
I don't
guess-
feel. I
I
like
guess
it.
I
Actually.
felt that way when I was a kid, but these days I gotta have the lotion.
Well, yeah, I do too, or else my hands start cracking and bleeding. But I prefer to avoid it if I can.
No question about it. All right, we only got a couple of minutes left, so I want to run this by you, and you can vote on this, okay? A study found breakups are harder on men than women. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Why would it be?
It's a lot easier for a woman to find someone new than a man.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
2 weeks until Valentine's Day, men, and don't trick yourself into thinking a breakup would be easier than buying a half-decent gift. A new study found breakups tend to be harder on men than they are on women. There's a stereotype that women are more emotionally dependent, but it might be the opposite. The study found men, at least straight men, tend to rely on their romantic partner for more emotional support. Women don't need as much because they also get it from their friends. So I have a question for you. Are they saying there that gay men don't rely on it either because they don't need it as much?
It seems to be what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. I don't know why that would be, but
I think that probably for men and women, the first one, as they say, the first cut is the deepest. And
yeah.
but it's true. In my life, and I see my kids, same thing. The first breakup is really tough, and you get past that, and you just don't give a damn anymore.
I suppose that's probably true. The first breakup's probably the hardest.
Yeah, and it's really a wonderful thing to have that breakup when you're younger. You get it out of your system, and then you become more bold. In terms of just finding friends and of course girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, because you've gotten past that tough part, and now it's like just you can't hurt me anymore.
It's really amazing, and I can close with this, and you guys certainly can close with your part of it if you ever went through it. But many, many, many years ago, I went out with a young woman. I think, 19. She was 19, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
And then she broke up with me. She decided she liked somebody better than me, and whatever, it all works out in the end. And then about, I don't know, 20 years later, the KQ morning show was just huge. It's the highest rated morning show in America, and everything was blowing up and blah, blah, blah. I walked into a convenience store, and she was in there. She had a couple of her teeth missing.
Oh, no.
She didn't look very healthy at all. And I really didn't know it was her at first. I thought it might be, but she looked so different that I thought, oh, that's probably not even her.
Yeah.
But I went in line to buy whatever I was buying, probably a Snickers bar or something. And she came up behind me and said, "Tom, is that you?" And I said, "Yes." And she said her name. And then she said, "I made a mistake. I should have married you."
Ooh.
And I went,
That's rough.
Yeah,
boy, look at the time.
but you didn't make a mistake.
No, but I didn't make a mistake.
Tell
Exactly.
me, was number 11 missing?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely
That's
right
pretty
about that.
bad, yeah.
All right, boys.
It's usually one of the incisors, the front incisors.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
they're the least useful, so no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
Is that because of you don't brush your teeth and they rot? Is that what happens?
It sounds like maybe she got punched.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, there's a possibility.
And missing incisors often is because you get them knocked out.
Yeah.
I suppose that makes sense. All right, that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. We will talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Every time I hear the same reminds me how you talking.